Hi there, it's Ruth here, Artful Stampin'. Welcome to another Christmas Stampathon 2019 challenge. Well, this month we've decided to challenge you with making cards using mainly white. So this is not another scrap video, I promise, but basically it was a great opportunity to use up some of my white scraps that I keep in a bag. So I went ahead and used some of my punches and cut out 4 different size circles, some flowers and some leaf punchies. I also did some embossing with the Sizzix Big Shot machine and just did a few different white pieces of card through different embossing folders just to have them ready to see what I was going to do. I didn't have a particular plan in mind, so I kind of just went for it. I did use the sentiment from the First Frost stamp set and grabbed out Mint Macaron and the Soft Sea Foam colours. Again, I wasn't completely sure where I was going to go with it, but just had them on my desk ready. So then I punched out the sentiment using that fabulous taggy type punch and then just sponged the edges. So I actually stamped the sentiment with Mint Macaron, but decided to sponge the edges with the Soft Sea Foam. So here is the basket weave embossing folder. Now I love this. It's just great texture to have in the background of a card or to use to make a little basket. And I decided to really let that texture sing really because it's just so fabulous and I don't think it needed it much more than this. So I grabbed 3 of the leaf sprigs and sponged those with the Soft Sea Foam. Now you may notice that on my sponge it's actually got a bit of a beigey looking label on it, so I'm not completely sure how clean that sponge was. It may have got a little bit of beige on there as well, but I wasn't really bothered about getting a true colour. It was more about getting some colour on there. So after I did that card, I then used the leafy embossing embossed paper, or embossed card rather, and fancied creating a bit of a kind of pattern using some of the circles. So as you can see, I laid them out and just had fun kind of experimenting with that and then sponging the circles. I ended up setting that aside for a minute before gluing that down, which I'll do later. Then I had a play with the corrugated card, and because it's got all those kind of like lines going through it, I thought it'd be fun to create almost like a giant snow falling effect with the circle punchies, and so I placed sort of the larger ones on and then kind of dripped or just dropped the smaller circles on for a bit more of a random kind of pattern because I didn't want it to look too thought out. So I then just stuck them down where they ended up falling, which was quite a fun kind of thing to do. So I do recommend you having a go with this. It's a great way to use up scraps of white, you know, before it ends up in the scrap basket, the rubbish basket. You know, just punch out a few circles and keep them in a bag ready for a project. So here is that gorgeous, I think it's something like a honeycomb or, I don't know, hexagon embossing folder. Now the ones that I've shown you already were the really deep embossing folders, and they create such a gorgeous deep effect onto the card. As you can see, I also just got my tweezers out and shaped some of the flowers and also the leaves before giving them a little bit of a sponge over with the sponge and the Soft Sea Foam. Yeah, I can't go on about these embossing folders enough. If you have a Big Shot, they are so worth the investment because they just create such fabulous effects. So here I am just sponging on some Soft Sea Foam, and then I thought I was sponging on Mint Macaron, but I had been a bit lazy and not really checked that the sponge didn't have green already on it. So it's more of a kind of either pear pizzazz or old olive that was on that sponge. So if you want to recreate what I've done, don't use Mint Macaron, use a slightly darker green. But I like the effect. I love the way it kind of really makes those textures of that cardstock stand out. And it was really nice then to place the sentiment and the flowers on top of that, because there's like a really nice contrast between the flowers and the background behind it. So as you probably saw then, I tore off a little bit of the stem of the leaf so that I had enough space to stick it behind the already stuck down sentiment. So when it came to sticking the circles down, I used my grid paper and aligned it so that it was in the middle, so that that thicker line was in the middle, so I kind of knew where I was heading for with these circles, and then kind of eyeballed the rest. But as you can see, it wasn't too difficult to get them in a line, and then once they were in a line, just popped a little blob of glue in the middles and then added that second shape. So the large circle there, I think, is the 1 1/4 inch, and then I'm placing the inch. Oh, you know what, I'm going to measure it for you because I wouldn't want you to get it wrong. So then I was doing some twirly whirling with the thread. So it's the flax thread from the Spring Summer catalogue, and it's great for pulling apart and using to decorate. Yeah, just back to the circle, it was 1 1/4 inch, and then the smaller circle that I placed inside was actually the 3/4 inch. So I kept this in because, just to show you that I don't always get it right straight away. I had to fiddle around with that thread to get it how I wanted it to be, and yeah, I'm really pleased with all those lovely textures on there, and it just kind of all makes you look at the sentiment as the focal point more. This project is, or this challenge, is just really great for rethinking textures and yeah, how you kind of compose a card, because sometimes when we have lots of colours to think about, we end up thinking more about how to place the colours and what colour scheme, and is that too dark, is it too light? But by just focusing on one tone or one colour, it really makes you think about other elements of card making. So I really would challenge you, whether or not you make Christmas cards or not, and you get involved with the Stampathon, just have a go making cards in this way, just to kind of stretch yourself. If you would like to join in all the fun over on the Facebook page, do come and join us. Just go onto Facebook and type Christmas Stampathon 2019, or click on the link below, and you can submit your entries to this. So you can make 4 cards or 4 tags, or you can make more than that. You don't have to just stick to 4, but the idea is that it kind of kickstarts your Christmas card making or your Christmas craft making. So thank you so much for joining me. Please click on the blog link below, because there are links to the other 3 participants in this challenge, and it's just so fabulous to get, you know, 4 lots of ideas for this particular challenge. So take care for now, and we'll see you again next month, but hopefully I'll see you before that. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see, and have a great day. Bye.